If you struggle with shyness or social anxiety, check out our free No BS training course with actual useful advice you can do from home. None of that just get out there nonsense. The link is in the description below. For now, let's get to today's question.
The question, do people with social anxiety struggle to maintain friendships? Answer by Ashley Renee. I can't speak for anyone else, but for me, absolutely. I can't add much more to this than the already great answers here, but I will suggest doing a few things. First, take this test, free personality test, type descriptions, relationship and career advice. Knowing what personality type you are can help greatly. I'm a mediator or INFPT. This test is extremely accurate and helped me to take a good look at myself and my behavior. Secondly, get to know yourself extremely well. All throughout school and young adulthood I suffered greatly with social and generalized anxiety. But the more I got to know myself and heal any underlying issues that may have caused it, the more it disappeared. In my early 20s I got so bad I was pretty much agoraphobic. My home was the only place I felt safe. Now, I don't feel any difference between being in my home or out in the world. May sound strange, but people with social and generalized anxiety know exactly what I'm talking about. Only in rare circumstances do I feel any discomfort anymore, and it's very slight. For example, when my 14-year-old daughter was younger, she would wake up for school and instantly have a stomach ache and get stuck on the pot, so to speak. She already suffered from social and generalized anxiety, which would cause the stomach freak out, but then on top of it she'd be late because the stomach issues, and that caused more anxiety. This is something I suffered with at her age as well. Would seem pretty straightforward, yeah? Well, turns out she was dealing with emotional abuse from her father. At the time she was blanking out of her memory because she didn't know how to explain what was going on. Once we dealt with that, the physical and emotional anxiety issues weren't nearly as debilitating. So, whatever is buried down inside you may not be dealing with emotionally will absolutely manifest physically. I almost died once because of something similar, but that's a long story. Short version, I had a lot of emotions I wasn't dealing with that manifested physically, almost resulting in a 2-year-long downward spiral to near death. Had I not done all the things I've suggested here, I'd be dead. The doctors could never find an explanation because it obviously was physical. The mind is a very powerful thing, as a video I'll post for you will show. Now, this was a factor for me and not for everyone, but I always suggest people with anxiety, especially social anxiety, look into what an clairempath or clairsentient person is. This isn't always the case, but was a huge factor for me. And a lot of the people I work with in a client sense suffer from anxiety without realizing there may be more to it than just some anxiety issues. Just a suggestion. A good, short description for starters, if you do find any connection, which sometimes happens, is here: clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, clairsent, clairtangency, clairgustance, clairempathy and channeling. We are all born with these abilities. All of us. Some of us active and open, some of us go dormant, some of us choose to shut it down without even realizing it. But these are natural to all humankind. Thirdly, keep a journal. This has been extremely helpful for me and clients as well. I have kept a daily and dream journal in the past. Your daily waking journal will give you a good image of just exactly what is going on that causes the anxiety in the first place. Instead of just thinking it's social, you'll get to see down to the very finest detail what about social interaction causes this reaction. The dream journal will show you what your subconscious, or higher self, is working on at night. Some professionals will call this your subconscious, and others like me have a different explanation of the higher self. Find out what you believe and roll with it. Always follow your intuition on things, or your gut as others may say. A suggestion I have for getting to know yourself better than anyone else is the journals. Keep them separate to avoid confusion. Meditation at home and out in nature alone, energy work, cranial sacral work, walking around barefoot in nature, and interestingly enough, read books about anxiety. Not by traditional physicians, but by people like Osho or other gurus and teachers. If you choose to go the traditional way with physicians, that's totally your choice. But my mother and I have 30 years of nursing experience combined and have come to discover some really disturbing things about the modern medical community that you'd rather avoid. Just trust me on that one. As a former health worker and a patient. Lastly, I'll leave you my email for contact if you wish, since my experience with social and generalized anxiety go far beyond this, and if you need any help I'll always be there. soulseekersen@gmail.com and this video to help you realize just how much control you do have in this situation. Namaste. Answer by Nicholas Grunt. I am a college sophomore and have had relatively few close friendships. I'm okay with not having a lot, but have always wanted at least one really close friend. Last year I roomed with a girl who has become a very good friend. It even looks like we might be able to room together next year, something we both look forward to. I think it's safe to say this is one of the closest friendships Eva had. Book guide, From Lonely to Social Life in 27 Days. My problem, unbeknownst to my friend, is that I'm pretty anxious about this friendship. This fits my personality, as I tend to get anxious and introspective about many things. I sometimes fear I am obsessive or too possessive, although this is only inside myself and is never outwardly detectable. Recently, after experiencing such jealousy, I suddenly had negative feelings about our relationship, as though my friend is someone I don't know. Obviously this worries me, although I strongly suspect, and hope, that this is simply another byproduct of my anxiety. The truth is, I love my friend very much and we have shared a lot together over the past year. I realize I have a weakness that I will have to deal with throughout life, but am really frustrated with how it affects my friendship. I would like to be able to accept her interactions with other people without struggling like this. Last thing I want is to be possessive like that, for either her sake or mine. And yet I want to reassure myself that we really are close friends. Do you have any advice as to how I can be less jealous/anxious about our friendship? When you feel so close to someone, it's natural that you would want those feelings to be reciprocated. But your anxiety over this friendship is excessive because it's so uncomfortable and troubling to you. You haven't told me much about your roommate, but many people, like you, prefer to have only one or two close friendships. Others enjoy juggling larger numbers of people, sometimes a mix of close and casual friendships. This is probably the case with your roommate, but it doesn't in any way diminish the closeness she feels to you. Perhaps you should talk to your friend and let her know that you tend to be an anxious person. She probably knows that about you already. Ask her to let you know if and when you are too clingy or possessive. Tell her you cherish your friendship and don't want to do anything that damages it or makes her feel uncomfortable. I suspect she'll be reassuring and let you know if anything is bothering her. I suspect that this friendship isn't the only instance in which you feel anxious and uncomfortable. People become anxious to varying degrees based on their temperament, which is, in part, genetic, and it can be upsetting, and hinder their performance both academically and socially. You sound very smart and insightful, and seem highly motivated to change. Given these factors, you probably would benefit from some short-term therapy, not psychoanalysis, to help you deal with your anxieties. I suspect that this will not only help you with your friendships but will carry over to other aspects of life. Since you are on a college campus, you can see whether the Student Health Office offers some kind of screening and can provide short-term therapy like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. Many people with a low self-esteem have this problem. You think that all you need is one super BFF, but that isn't the case. I have also had this problem. Work on your self-esteem and I can guarantee you that it will get better. Answer by Linda Barnard Waldrop. I have no friends. When I say that, I mean I have no person that I keep close ties with. Go out for a coffee, go shopping, talk on the phone. The usual things. I am 62. I struggled when I was a teenager to keep friendships. It's like I have built a wall around myself to keep other people out. That's the best way I know to describe it. When a work friend would want to meet at a social event over the years, I would always find a reason to cancel the appointment. The strange thing is, if you saw me in a social setting, you would think I was the life of the party. I have been told this. So why is it so hard for me to maintain friendships? It's like, I'm in a show. I will use my weekly Weight Watchers meeting as an example. I give everything Eva got for support. Then run home and hide. After years of therapy, I don't know. I managed to get married twice, but both men have their own, let's say, personality problems. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I had met and married an extroverted person with some means. That way, I would have been forced to maintain friendships as a couple. Would that have worked? All I can say is, it is no way to live. If you can break out of this struggle to maintain friendships, please do all in your power to do it. The older you get, the harder it is. Good luck to you. Update. I have had 2 dear online friends leave me messages. Please read them if you wish. The above was written in offline context only, talking about life outside my apartment, away from this PC, where I spend hours. D.